Okay, so today I want to talk to you a little bit about the action wedge concept. So if we look at these charts here, we are looking at a simplified P&L. Okay, the concept is that you've got your top line revenues, and from that are your costs. Okay, that is a fairly linear relationship in most businesses, and typically your margins aren't that big. Commonly also, they are very similar to that of your competitors, okay? Because you're existing in the same market, you're using the same products, and you're selling to the same people. So there's typically very little variation and little competitive advantage. Now, if we progress, what you generally find within competitive markets is that you go to war with your competitor. Yeah? You're looking for competitive advantage, but what happens there is it's a self-defeating exercise. Your expenses might go up and your revenues might go down as competition intensifies, which isn't good for anyone. So what you're left with is narrower margins, both of you. You know, there's less money to go around, and your expenses are higher as a result. So you've really got to look for something that is a competitive advantage to your competitor, okay? You need a solution to this. The solution is the action wedge, and specifically the outsourcing action wedge, okay? That is the blue thing on your screen right now. So what is the outsourcing model? And the outsourcing is not just about cost savings, okay? There are two primary aspects to outsourcing. One of them is the cost saving, okay? So you can reduce your cost base. But there's another side to this story. There is the competitive advantage, okay, that you can gain over your competitor. There's the strategic advantage that you can gain against your competitor. And that is really the upside to the outsourcing puzzle, okay? So when you combine these two, you have the solution wedge, okay? This wedge, it's a graphical relationship, of course, but this wedge can push between your revenues and your costs. Your revenues will go up as a result of the strategic and competitive advantages gained by outsourcing, and your costs can at the same time be reduced, okay? When applying this wedge, you see the divergence of the revenue and cost lines. And meanwhile, significantly, you are doing this while your competitor is asleep, okay? So once the wedge pushes in, your competitor is still sleeping, and before you know it, that is the way of achieving a competitive advantage, okay? You have simultaneously increased your revenues and decreased your costs, and it's something different to your competitor, and it's acting outside of the competitive environment. So rethink your widgets, okay? Rethink how you do things, and think about outsourcing as a competitive and strategic advantage.